This is Camnet News. Thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. The top stories on our desk this evening. Fred Membe challenged Zambians to assess the performance of President HH. UPND youths continue comforting themselves in anticipation of government jobs. The dilapidation of road infrastructure worry MAFINGA district residents. In international news, poor harvest in Sudan raises price, false reliance on aid. And in sports, Copper Queens aims to be tactical ahead of Namibia encounter.
Are you a qualified and skilled marketing person? Have you got the passion and motivation as a marketer? Camnet TV is looking for self-motivated, qualified marketers. For more details, please call 0962 965 883 or send your details to the email info@camnettvafrica.com.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Are you a talented and gifted soccer player? Camnet Stars will be conducting trials for young players between the age of 14 and 16 years. You never know, you could be America or Europe bound this July.
We need to pick some players so that we can come up with a very powerful squad which is supposed to travel outside the country and do a lot of work for Zambian football.
Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School Playgrounds. Time, 14 hours. You could be the next big soccer star in Europe. See you this Sunday, 20th February 2022.
Once again, thank you for choosing us. The news in detail. Residents of MAFINGA constituency in Mochinga province have bemoaned the poor state of the road in Isoka Muyombe. The residents narrate that the poor state of the road has negatively affected the economic activities in the area, thereby increasing the poverty levels. One of the affected residents, Jackson Chibombo, has described the need for a good road network as urgent. Meanwhile, MAFINGA area Member of Parliament Robert Chavinga has backed the cause for a good road network in the area. Alex Chishimba filed this report.
Since the UNIP era, the people of MAFINGA constituency of Mochinga province have struggled with the road network now worsening due to the rains and flash floods that the country has recently experienced. It is due to poor road network that most transporters avoid this route, thus lessening the economic activities in the area. This D790 road connects Isoka and MAFINGA Muyombe area. Per custom, commuters have to wait to board on the only public transport available once a day, which due to high demand, load 2 times its capacity. Some road users narrate some of the challenges they face while using this road.
Very difficult, especially during rainy season. There are times that it may stuck into the mud and maybe it may take you maybe 2 days just in mountains.
Isa mutikiza kuna mseo kusuzia chomene tikanyamuka kuisoka cha Mulenje tuyakafika kumuyombe cha kuma 19 hours tukasha mseo matipa furu so hao tikutia itiangana nipo mtilaviseko mtiboneleko mseo tutondeka kutikatandalile wapapi tukwa cha mseo so pa mtilavisia kutingaonga
ni a road ya tisuzia chomene because mone ntem chirumbi mlimatipa mseo urujimika chomene so nkulomba kuti government itovuireko pa mseo like kwitu nte kumyombe vemba nte ya rudumula bridge tupotwa kwa mbuga na motoka zikaraka kusiri.
The road network is very bad. That's why you are able to see accidents, especially during rainy season. People can't come from where they are coming to the other destination. So my appeal to the government and the MP is that let them work hand in hand so that they can do something for this road maintenance.
And MAFINGA Ward Councillor Jonas Selome has explained that the road is mountainous, making it even worse to move to and from MAFINGA constituency.
The road ends here. People are struggling, mountain climbing, Chirumbi mountain. There's a big problem. As you said earlier on, this is an economic road. People are cultivating, there's a lot of maize here. And the fertilizer comes from Isoka going to our district here. The only problem we have is this road. Transporters are failing to transport fertilizer, maize, any goods because of this road.
Meanwhile, Mafinga Area Member of Parliament, Robert Chavinga, has retaliated calls from the residents for the roads to be fixed urgently.
To move from this side of Nakonde, going to Lusaka, then you go this side. It's too much far. So this is why we need this road. It has to be done. Okay, and the people have suffered for a long time over this road. It's either deaths or the vehicles. I think you saw first.
Mr. Chavinga says engagement with the Road Development Agency is underway and soon people should expect a solution.
This is to reach Myombe, it's 113 kilometers. That is what is remaining, and this is what we're appealing from government, because we don't know the status, but we have appealed to the Minister of Infrastructure, who has assured us, the Minister of Finance, they have assured us that they'll look for funding after the rain seasons. But as we'll be going, we'll check in this area so that we see that there's a serious problem over this road network.
It is the hope of the people of Mafinga area that this road would be worked on as soon as possible. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Mafinga District.
A woman of Lusaka's Kalingali area has been left stranded after being evicted from the house by her landlord. Fabi Chimbeya has told Camnet News in an interview that she has been working as a toilet cleaner at a famous club in Mtendere known as Arena, belonging to one of the top-ranking government officials. And when contacted for a comment, the victim's landlord, Masie Piri, says his tenant has failed to uphold the tenancy agreement, including paying her rent at the agreed time. Details in this.
She is a toilet cleaner at this Arena in Lusaka's Mtendere area, belonging to a named cabinet minister. Fabi Mwachimbia has been forced to spend a day and night in the cold after being evicted from a house she has been renting since 15th May 2020 by her landlord through the Mtendere landlord and tenant. Her goods have all been soaked due to the rains as she is trying to urgently look for another shelter to take her belongings.
January pa 15 in drama, zinamba kutivutako vutako. Siti tumapamene pa 15, but sitifika mu month end inangolo pa month. Tinamba kutuma drama maybe pa 28, pa 27, pa 26 so chabi. So kufikira January pa 20 balando banabwera babwera. Banani itana tinaenda kuseri kubakambati. Ine waisu unanitumira drama pa 15 nata. Drama za vutako wamena lipira drama isilika karibe kupeza.
The woman narrates that she did not refuse to move out of the house despite having been given a short notice by her landlord, who claims that he was at one point insulted by the son to the woman.
Pamne wanabwela maazo wa landlord and tenant kuma 16 hours, banabwela bakamba kuti bapiri banivuta. Batumira ba human rights kuti beve bayupiri banani pasandrama elo ine sinigwira nchito so ni kuchoseni apa manje kuti baziwe kuti na nchito mwani pasisa mulandu kuliba human rights pamete nstachoka pkonsi kwa bwera mvula katundu ili apa yambiri nionana so ine ndicha meni pempako sina kani kuchoka mnyumba mwao koma nyumba ndiye amene apezeka ikalibe kupezeka sina kani nyumba ndiye yao but drama ni be Maria ziyali yonse dala ina koma bapunzirirepo lesson vintu vamevili hapa nikubeko enda na bana this time usiku.
But the landlord, identified as Masie Piri, has justified his action, saying his tenant has not been fulfilling the tenancy agreement, among them paying rent on time because she has no money.
Paying, she can pay, but not always me until we every day we differ. For them to pay, we differ. They don't pay at the right time. This is what I've said. She has failed to comply with tenants agreement later. Okay. She doesn't pay on the time, and even paying sometimes it's in the pockets. I told her, this is not the agreement.
The woman, however, says she has been facing challenges in paying the rent because her boss has not been paying her.
Ni matuma phone iswa maniyanka mama niuza date kaonana face to face nitumile day so phone imalira chabe swa niyanka kuchokera 2018 ningapende drama za mene bana nipasako nipempa ko government initandize pa drama za mena sevenzela ba kuchokera 2015 kuenza tipasa ko tundrama kufika pa 2016 17 kufika 2018 ndirama nzochita chabe bakupasa kawanu pini wagula vakudya nyumba si kwanisa amene amalipira nyumba ni mwana wanga.
The woman now seeks government intervention to help her recover the money she has worked for and has also called on stakeholders to help provide her with temporary shelter. And efforts to get a comment from the named minister could not materialize by broadcast time as he is believed to be out of the country. Prudence Jota reporting for Camnet TV News.
Residents of Kafue district have called on government to construct a police station, adding that the one they have gets flooded during the rain season, forcing officers to abandon the building. In an interview, the residents say this has in a way increased criminal activities in the area. Meanwhile, Kafue police station officer in charge, Jason Lungu, confirmed this development, stating that the district is in need of a decent police station. Mr. Lungu says this has led to 144 police officers reporting to a small police building that is currently acting as a police station.
The lack of decent police posts and police stations around some parts of the country has been raising concerns about internal security among citizens. Residents of Chikankata district have been bemoaning the closing down of the only police post in the district, while other residents, such as those of Banda Masauko in Lusaka, have been stating that their area has never had a police post.
So twalomba nohulumende kuti amutulanganye kuli jeji oguno 1 kuli ngombe kuli baba ngombe mbanji 2 kuli madefilers mbanji kuli bajitamirandu isiyenisini kuli Rwanda kuli mababa nanywa bokoko bantu balalwana balangwa so kuwo kubatola it takes jilatola mazuba manji kuti bamunyamu nokuno kujiradura kuti bakakusiye kumazabuka
mwezi wache yanghalabalinche ya majanki it has been filled with junkies so you know we find it difficult for us kwendo shita report kuja kuwashuka kuja.
The picture seems to be the same in many parts of Zambia. The case of Kafue district. Officer in charge at Kafue district police station says that despite the district having a total of 144 police officers, this is the building being used as the main police station for the whole district. He explains that the initial police station was abandoned as it tends to flood during the rain season.
So it used to happen that most of the time whenever it rains, the whole building would have water and having officers working for 24 hours. Those working the night would stand in the water the whole night, and that was a serious challenge that we've had with that building. So we have, of course, been crying for help until the time when we just decided to abandon that building and come and squeeze ourselves in here.
A check by Camnet News at the initial police station reviewed abandoned offices due to the problem of flooding that the station usually has. Residents say they've often been turned away at the police station before it was abandoned due to the flooding problem, which was making it difficult for police officers to work efficiently. Meanwhile, Area MP Ms. Miriam Chonya says she will lobby the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security for funds to construct a new police station.
However, as of 2 days ago, I received a formal response from him indicating that in the ministry budget, I think there's been approved something like 578,000 only for construction, which makes it difficult for the ministry, to take on that responsibility, because they are also now looking at, moving in the direction of government policy where focus is on completion of those constructions that are already above 70%.
Despite well-wishers donating building sand in an effort to alleviate the problem of flooding, it has proved unsolvable, hence calls for the construction of a new police station in a flood-free area. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Kafue District.
Opposition Socialist Party President Dr. Fred Membe has challenged Zambians to assess the performance of the United Party for National Development Administration after 6 months in office if they are living up to their campaign promises. Dr. Membe says Zambians must begin to interrogate the pledges made to them because the resources being spent on national issues are public resources. The opposition leader is of the view that Zambia will only develop if citizens begin to govern themselves under the socialism concept. Details in this report.
Various stakeholders have been giving their perspective on the performance of the United Party for National Development, UPND, 6 months in office. Having campaigned on the premises of more jobs, the adherence to the rule of law, and a well-functioning economy among many matters of concern, some people feel there has been slow progress in the implementation of some commitments. Others say 6 months is too little to repair the damage that the PF did to the economy, although Zambians don't know how long they need to wait to see the fulfillment of all campaign pledges. But understandably, it is within the 5-year tenure.
To call on the Zambian people to be patient, because the mess that was in this country is more than you can imagine. And that's why the New Dawn administration is busy working to fulfill the promises that we made to the Zambian people.
Zambians continue to beg for development from authorities. Socialist Party President Fred Membe says Zambians must know that they are responsible for the country's wealth and that leaders are servants.
When people start telling you they will do this, do that for you, they are lying. Because nobody has ever done anything for you. And where are they going to get the resources to do that for you? All the resources government has, government gets, come from the people. Government does not get any resources from the skies. All the money government has comes from the people. Even the debts they acquire, who pays? It's you, the common people. It's the ordinary man and woman who pays. They are borrowing on your behalf for you to pay, not for them to pay. They will tell you that they have brought you this, they have brought you that. From where? Whose money? It's your money.
Dr. Membe says Zambians need to interrogate the pledges the UPND made prior to the general election.
Probably people say it's too early to look at what has been done and not done. But what we need to look for is, on the basis of what is being done now and what has been done in the last 5 months and the pronouncements that have been made, we should be able to assess and see where are we going.
For Zambia to develop, people need to take matters seriously.
Only and only if the Zambian people, the masses of our people started to govern themselves, then development will come. Then progress will be made. What our people were fighting for, what our people were looking forward to was not promises in someone's head, in someone's mouth. They were looking for a better life. They were looking for material benefits. They were looking to live better and in peace for themselves and for their children and children's children.
Patrick Soko, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
United Party for National Development Youth Wing has appealed to youths across the country to desist from being used as tools of division in the country. UPND Lusaka Province Youth Chairperson Anderson Banda says some youths in the party are slowly losing hope because they are being influenced by wrong people that President Hakainde Hichilema will not deliver what he promised to them. Mr. Banda has justified that the delays are due to the fact that the president was first sealing the loopholes created by the previous administration. He says opportunities have been created and will soon begin to be rolled out in all provinces, which will benefit not only the UPND members but youths from other political parties. And UPND Northwestern Province Chairperson Bruce Kanema says there will be no segregation in empowerment under his party, as was the case in the previous administration. Let's look at this.
We are very concerned, and programs to empower and to alleviate challenges the youth are going through is on the table. Programs are there: job creation, empowerment, talent identification, Those who are entrepreneurs, they will get what they want. They will get what they voted for. But I want to advise that you would not develop any country where there is a volatile environment.
The CDF will be released. Under CDF, there is 5 million in every constituency, of which even the members of parliament, the council chairpersons and the mayors are aware that that 5 million is intact for the young people. So now, even when it comes to the conditions surrounding that empowerment, that 5 million, the conditions are not that bad whereby our colleagues, the young people, fail to access that money. That money is kindly coming to you so that at the end of the day, you use that money to do any kind of business that you want.
Brothers and sisters, especially the youth of Eastern Province, if there are areas you don't understand that your new government is doing, please, we are appealing to you. Come to our offices as your provincial youth leaders. Will be able to help on how to assess these youth empowerments.
Lawyer and political commentator Elias Mosha says the fight against corruption is an agenda that was started by the Zambian people when they began speaking out on various suspected corrupt acts during the Patriotic Front administration. Addressing the media Friday, Mr. Mosha adds that while the first 6 months of the UPND administration is struggling to fulfill its campaign promises, it has begun to respond to the cries of the Zambian people through prioritizing the fight against corruption. The UPND administration has been accused by political players such as the former ruling Patriotic Front of failing to give hope to the Zambian people on how it will fulfill its campaign promises. Details.
Just as the former ruling Patriotic Front was known for its campaign slogan of lower taxes and more money in your pocket, the new United Party for National Development UPND administration is known for its promise of lowering the cost of living and solving the problem of mass youth unemployment. 6 months after forming government, the UPND has come under criticism from various political players for allegedly failing to provide a voice of hope for Zambian citizens, unlike when it was in the opposition. Critics, especially those from the former ruling Patriotic Front, have been challenging the new administration to communicate how it plans to actualize each and every one of its campaign promises. Lawyer and political commentator Dr. Elias Mosha, however, feels that the new administration should be noted for achievements made so far, stating that they took over office during a period when the country was going through challenging times.
In the last 6 months, fellow citizens, the Hichilema Nalumango administration has paid off 15,000 Tazara workers. These are workers that were completely neglected under the previous regime. For having done so, we all need to be very, not only grateful, but recognize the great effort that have been done. Secondly, 128,000 pensioners which were neglected under the previous administration have been paid from 10 years ago. Thirdly, 34,000 council workers who were not receiving their salaries every month were paid in the previous 6 months.
He further adds that the new administration is responding to calls by the Zambian people through prioritizing the fight against corruption, as Zambians have been speaking out against suspected vices during the previous administration, such as political cadres who took to various platforms displaying colossal sums of money.
But the fight against corruption was not started by any government or any party. It was started by the people of Zambia themselves. It is the people of Zambia who saw the corruption of the previous regime. We saw cadres flashing cash every day. We saw government workers, and in most cases, ministers, and other senior government officials. We saw their corruption. We saw it with our very own eyes. We saw their arrogance. And that is the reason why we as a people in August 2021 decided to remove them from office. Now, after we removed them from office, 6 months later, or perhaps 4 months later, they come back and begin crying to be victims. They are saying that you as the people of Zambia are victimizing these people. Fellow citizens, You are not victimizing these people.
Dr. Musha has further advised opposition political parties to offer checks and balances that will be beneficial to the development of the country. Meanwhile, in a phone interview, Alliance for Accountability Advocates Executive Director Mr. Luchembe Chilufya says the fight against corruption in the country can be made more efficient, stating that the current process is slow.
But if a proper mechanism is put in place to ensure that whether they have money or they don't have money, the issue is handled in the shortest period of time and addressed, and the resources are recovered, I think we'll see a change, and that is the change that we're looking for.
Expectations from the UPND administration are high due to its attractive promises to the Zambian people during its campaigns. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
President Hakainde Hichilema says Zambia has the potential to thrive economically owing to the peace and security the country continues to enjoy. The head of state was speaking when he held bilateral talks with European Council President Mr. Charles Michel on the sidelines of the EU-AU summit in Brussels. President Hichilema took time to highlight the available investment opportunities in Zambia and the need for increased trade for Zambia and other countries. The head of state insists that issues of peace and security in respective countries are paramount in enhancing democracy and good governance, resulting in economic development. In this regard, President Hichilema says this is why Zambia is optimistic that economic challenges will be fought and eventually won. Lusaka Magistrate Jennifer Walia has declined to stay proceedings in a case where Patriotic Front Chairperson for Information and Media Raphael Nakachinda is accused of defaming President Hakainde Hichilema. Delivering her ruling, the magistrate said despite being referred to the Constitutional Court, trial will have to proceed till a time when the higher court gives an outcome. In the last sitting, Magistrate Walia referred the case to the Constitutional Court following an application made by Nakachinda's lawyers that the matter would be determined on whether or not he can be tried on the offense when the head of state enjoys immunity from lawsuits. Details in this report.
The Lusaka's Magistrate Court Friday morning ruled that it will continue to hear the case in which opposition Patriotic Front Chairperson for Information and Publicity Raphael Nakachinda is accused of defaming the Republican President Hakainde Hichilema, despite the matter being referred to the Constitutional Court pending determination of the constitutional issues.
A little comment is that the matter will proceed in the subordinate court as we also proceed at the Constitutional Court. So we have set a date of the 1st of April 2022 to commence with the trial.
Mr. Nakachinda is facing one count of defamation of the president, contrary to the laws of Zambia. He is alleged to have accused the head of state of summoning judges at his private residence, intimidating and coercing them to frustrate PF legal battles. At the last court sitting, Mr. Nakachinda's lawyers applied for the case to be referred to the Constitutional Court to answer the question as to whether the provision and the offense created under Section 69 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia, was in conflict with the provision of Article 8D of Act No. 2 of 2016. The application seeks to determine whether or not he can be tried on the offense when the head of state enjoys immunity from the lawsuit. Magistrate Walian then granted the application to refer the matter to the Constitutional Court, but reserved ruling on the application to stay the proceedings before her, pending determination of the matter by the Constitutional Court. This morning, Friday, the 18th of February 2022, when the matter came up for ruling, Magistrate Walia declined to stay the proceedings before her. She ruled that the defamation trial before her will proceed. Meanwhile, Mr. Nakachinda has taken plea and has pleaded not guilty to defaming President Hakainde Hichilema.
In reference to this matter, of course, we're given leave to go to the Constitutional Court and we should be able to have those issues addressed there. The only good thing that I'm happy about is as a result of the debate around this matter. There is already a debate in the nation in relation to the constitutionality of this charge itself. There are even proposals, I think the Law Development Commission did submit to the Minister of Justice the need to have some of these laws amended so that our democracy can thrive and the citizens should have free expression of what they think is inimical to the interests of the Zambian people.
The matter has since been adjourned to the 1st of April 2022 for commencement of trial. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
National Revolution Party leader Cosmo Mumba has emphasized the need to revisit the country's constitution and address some of the lacunas, such as the removal of the presidential immunity. Speaking to the media shortly after attending a court session at the Lusaka Magistrate Court, Mr. Mumba says the removal of one's immunity once they leave office is dirtifying the country's reputation. He has since appealed to governments to remove the immunity clause from the country's constitution.
Opportunity to appeal to His Excellency, elected by 2.8 million Zambians, to set the precedence that a person after leaving office, his immunity, the immunity clause should be looked at properly. The Constitutional Court should now start developing a law which will either remove the immunity clause than waiting for somebody to leave office and then you remove the immunity. The issue of removing an immunity to a president after leave of office is, to us, is denting the image of our country. I'm appealing to His Excellency. We are against the people petitioning the removal of President Lungu's immunity. We are against that because it has been a precedence. President Dr. Chiluba suffered. He suffered a lot after the immunity was removed, but he died an innocent person. He was acquitted few months before his death. Are we going to have a situation where somebody is acquitted few months before death? We want a situation where if the immunity clause should be removed immediately so that a president can be tried even when he's president of the Republic of Zambia.
This is Camnet News. Let's take a breather. When we return, we have more interesting stories. Stay with us.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Are you a qualified and skilled marketing person? Have you got the passion and motivation as a marketer? Camnet TV is looking for self-motivated, qualified marketers. For more details, please call 0962 965 883 or send your details to the email info@camnettvafrica.com. Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. Government has urged civil servants and public workers in MAFINGA district to be professional and committed to their work and complement government's developmental agenda. During his familiarization tour, where heads of departments were addressed, Mochinga Province Permanent Secretary Henry Mukongole cautioned the workers against complacency in the discharge of their duties.
During his familiarization tour, Mochinga Province Permanent Secretary Henry Mukongole has cautioned civil servants and public workers against complacency in the execution of their duties. Mr. Mukongole has warned that bad attitude towards work among workers will not be condoned in the province. He says this when he addressed the heads of departments in the district at MAFINGA Council.
It will not be business as usual. You will be fired, you will lose your job. Immediately your name is submitted to my office to say you are not doing your job. I think this is what the new Dawn government is all about. So if you want to preserve your job, do your duties that are required of you and do them diligently. Only then are you going to save your job. And as civil servants, I think we can work anywhere where our services are required. So we will not stop bringing people from outside to MAFINGA.
Mr. Mukongole adds that government has decentralized the employment mechanism, which will enable employment of workers at district level.
Husbands, those that have left their wives, I think the president wants us to reunite such families so that they can be together, so that they provide a service. Because one of the things that you have signed as civil servants is that you will work anywhere where your services are needed. And it is unfortunate that after waiting for 2-3 years, you start asking for a transfer to get to some other place.
During the same interaction, the heads of departments raised pertinent issues affecting work in the district.
In terms of project implementation, we are last in the country and last in the province. As a council, we are a secretariat and providing, but the user department who should drive are failing us. That's why I say some of them, they are in the gear of the what system of we belong to the ministry.
Yeah.
I submit
the Lord to be at least worked on so that we are able to move nicely from here to Isoka to access the services that we may need from Isoka. Thank you.
But I'm sure some of us did not understand why it's uplifting of subsidies. But now that you've mentioned it, I think it's all clear to us and to the people that we've left back. I think we'll be able to explain more on that. On the policy of free education, I think it's something that is really, really important, because I've been around and I've seen a lot of children unable to go to school simply because their parents are unable to pay for their school fees. But with this, I believe it will change the future generation and others to come.
The permanent secretary is on the familiarization tour of our district in the province to familiarize himself to the workers. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, MAFINGA District, Mochinga Province.
The Zambian government and the United Republic of Tanzania have firmly committed to amicably resolve all issues related to the aspect of bilateral cooperation between the two countries. Transport Minister Frank Tayali, at a meeting held in Tanzania, said that one of the meetings the two countries held on the 15th of February 2022 provided an opportunity for the two governments to dialogue on the events at the Nakonde border regarding the transportation of cargo to and from Zambia and Tanzania. Mr. Tayali says the two countries recognize that cross-border trade is an engine for inclusive economic growth, poverty reduction, and sustainable development. In this regard, the two countries have reaffirmed their commitment to regional integration, which includes the facilitation of smooth movement of goods and services between the two countries. The meeting in Tanzania was aimed at facilitating cross-border movements between Zambia and Tanzania.
the governments of our two sister countries, Zambia and Tanzania, call upon all those with grievances to avoid creating disturbances at the Nakonda border, to refrain from such actions which are contributing to a disruption of economic activities, consequently causing a threat to the security of the two countries, which is considered an abrogation of the law. We firmly commit to amicably resolve all issues related to any aspect of bilateral cooperation between the governments of the Republic of Zambia and the United Republic of Tanzania.
An economist, Chebamba Kanyama, says repealing the National Pension Scheme Authority Act that provides for late penalties for employers who delay in making contributions could result in mass recruitment for Zambian job seekers in the private sector. In an interview, Mr. Kanyama has urged the government to take this as one of the short-term measures aimed at cushioning high unemployment levels in the country and alleviating escalating poverty levels. Mr. Kanyama's response is in line with calls from various sectors of society for a new administration to put in place immediate measures to ease economic hardships on citizens.
The impact will be that many companies now will enjoy some level of relief. The punitive factor of NAPSA will be taken out of the way, and companies always respond to such gestures. They respond by employing people. Right now, it's difficult to employ people. Even if I'm able to pay salaries to new staff, which I'm capable of doing, I'm worried that if things get hard and I default for only 2 months, the penalties will kill my company. So instead of bringing 3 or 4 people on board, I would rather not employ to avoid the NAPSA penalties. Let the NAPSA Act be repealed immediately, and you see the level of response by the private sector. We are going to absorb tens and tens and tens of skilled people from the market and employ them. That way to give some relief, because every Zambian has a way of supporting 3 or 4 more other people in excellent funding. That's the way we live here. Number 2, government must now embark on huge projects, not these projects that just employ the Chinese and everybody. We want real projects that will take on board both the skilled and semi-skilled people. These are people who are in Chiboria, in Mande, Matera, who can't trade, they cannot survive, they cannot sell their skills to the manufacturing companies. But government always has a way of solving problems. And one way which has been documented anywhere in the world is for investments, infrastructure investments.
An economist, Trevor Simomba, has charged that the implementation of the revised Constituency Development Fund will be disastrous, as he predicts more persecution for embezzlement of resources. Mr. Simomba alleges that CDF guidelines were a copy and paste, and they are not practical and responsive to the Zambian context. He has since challenged the United Party for National Development Administration to enact a local content policy and not a statutory instrument to ensure that Zambians benefit from the mining sector.
The subject of the Constituency Development Fund is something that has been topical in the Zambian context. Various stakeholders have been raising concern surrounding the administration of the CDF. Suggestions have been provided, and various stakeholders believe that the CDF is a game changer and will facilitate development in various localities. Various stakeholders have been commenting on the implementation of the CDF, which has been increased to 25.7 million kwacha per constituency. Economist Trevor Simomba believes that the CDF guidelines are not responsive to the Zambian scenario.
That have been produced, I can tell you, they are not practical. This is just someone who sat in his office in local government there and came up with these guidelines, cut and paste from probably other countries where they've seen it. But it's not practical when you look at the way we interact at the community level, you know, the level of expertise that you can find in a lot of these districts.
It has further predicted that it will be disastrous as more people are likely to be prosecuted. He was speaking when he featured on a business program on Camnet TV.
I hope you are wrong, I'm wrong, because this will help our people so much. But unfortunately, based on my experience and knowledge of how government systems work, we're going to have a disaster. And a lot of people will be arrested come next year. A lot of people will find themselves arrested for procurement issues, you know, corruption. I can tell you that. And the Camnet, you are going to be here even next year. You can invite me back and I'll be able to tell you, see, this is what I predict.
And Mr. Simumba also expressed concern that the manner in which the UPND government is implementing policies in the mining sector is not sustainable and may not help the country derive maximum benefits. He has since called for the formulation and implementation of the local content policy in order to bring sanity in the mining sector and ensure that Zambians benefit from the resources.
The Local Content Act, because without the Local Content Act, even if you increase to 3 million tons, 80% of the suppliers to the mines and the service providers will be foreign. They will not use Zambians. So what are you doing? You've increased to 3 million tons, our roads will be damaged more, our environment will be damaged, and all we get is just an extra, what, maybe $1 billion in revenue, or even less. So there has to be some serious level of seriousness. I've been advocating that we need an economic endeavor where we can have experts, sector experts.
Patrick Soko, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
This is Camnet News. We take our second set of commercials. When we return, we look at sports and international news. Stay with us.
We welcome you to the wonderful world of Savenda Electronics.
At Savenda Electronics, we pride ourselves in manufacturing high-quality electricity and water meters.
Boasting of the first of its kind state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Zambia, Savenda Electronics manufactures customized smart electricity and water meters of international standards for both the local and international water and electricity utility companies. Our highly computerized factory, run by qualified staff, makes, calibrates, and electronically tests the smart meters to ensure only those meeting customer specifications are delivered to the market. Some of the main features which come with our meters includes notifications about low units, tempering, low battery, and many more customized features. Savenda Electronics provides on and off-site after-sales service and has favorable contract terms for water and electricity utility companies. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the... She has so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Do you have an extra car? Then make yourself extra money. We would like to put that car, yes, that car parked there, to good use to make you extra money on the side just through its service while keeping it safe and secure. Call 0765 02 3883 to register your vehicle with us today. Delpo Services. Service beyond satisfaction.
Are you a talented and gifted soccer player? Camnet Stars will be conducting trials for young players between the age of 14 and 16 years. You never know, you could be America or Europe bound this July.
We need to pick some players so that we can come up with a very powerful squad which is supposed to travel outside the country and do a lot of work for Zambian football.
Venue, Kablonga Boys Secondary School Playgrounds. Time, 14 hours. You could be the next big soccer star in Europe. See you this Sunday, 20th February 2022.
Thank you for staying on. In international news, apologies for that. In international news, poor harvests in Sudan's western Darfur region have led to the high food prices at the market. Hundreds of thousands of families who have endured years of conflict are now being forced to rely on aid for survival. Al Jazeera's Hiba Morgan reports from Al Fasa in North Darfur, Sudan.
Every month, Hawa Ismail and her youngest son Hamid come here to receive food assistance, help she needs to keep him and his other siblings back home fed.
When we tried to farm last year, the pests destroyed it, so we couldn't produce anything. So now we rely on the food distribution to take home and cook to feed him and his siblings.
Hamid is one of hundreds of children who rely on help from the UN's World Food Programme in El Fasher in Sudan's North Darfur state. Like the rest of the region, it has been devastated by years of conflict. More than 300,000 people have died and over 2 million displaced, according to the United Nations. And like the rest of the country, it's been hit by high inflation. Traders in the market say a bad harvest led to higher prices and fewer people buying.
People come from time to time to buy, and sometimes they don't buy. The market has been mostly stagnant, unlike the previous years.
Farming in North Darfur was already affected by conflict in the region. Many farmers have had little to no access to their farms because of fighting involving armed groups. Farmers also blame climate change for reduced...
From the factory floor to the streets of the Haitian capital, these workers from an industrial park in Port-au-Prince are demanding a raise to the minimum wage. Fatil Joseph says he can barely survive on his income.
We take to the streets to protest and make our voices heard, especially with the international community, because we live in poverty. There is no government that thinks of us.
Many of these people work to make textiles and clothing that get sold at large-scale retailers in the US and other countries. They say they are paid less than $5 a day for 9 hours of work. They're demanding the equivalent of 15. An inflation rate of around 20% in the country is a major concern. Workers say they spent half their salary to pay for transportation just to go to work.
We are launching the movement to demand the government listen to our voices so that it can adjust the minimum wage. We have made some steps and sent letters to them. They have never heard us.
The protest began last week, and on Thursday the police again used tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse the demonstration. Factory workers used burning tires to block the roads.
We're protesting peacefully with sticks. The police are abusing us. We do not consider them as police. We consider them as gangs.
Haiti is in the middle of a political and social crisis since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. Gangs control large sectors of the capital, and violence and kidnappings are widespread. The country is also struggling to recover from a devastating 7.2 earthquake which destroyed the southern tip of the peninsula, something the acting Prime Minister addressed at the Donors Conference on Wednesday.
Haïti n'a pas seulement connu des chocs naturels.
Haiti was not only hit by a natural shock, but it's also affected by others of human origin, which shows its vulnerability. Social and political movements and rising crime constitute the challenges we have to face.
As tensions in the Caribbean island run high, workers here say they will continue with their struggle for better wages. They say they haven't had a raise in more than 3 years and will continue protesting until the government meets their demands. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera.
That's it for international news. We go straight into sports news. In sports, Turkey-based Copper Queens midfielder Mesut Zulu is confident that the Copper Queens will be more tactical in the Alcon second-round return leg fixture against Namibia on Tuesday. Zulu says the Copper Queens just need to be disciplined and adhere to the instructions from the technical bench and utilize the chances they will have in the return leg fixture. And Zulu has since called on the soccer fans to have confidence in the team and offer them the full support. This year's African Women Championship will run from 2nd to 23rd July. The competition doubles as the African qualifier to the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup to be held in Australia and New Zealand.
Preparation, I think there is no problem. All the girls are actually ready, and people should actually expect a good result in South Africa when we meet Namibia on Tuesday. No, the fans, they shouldn't actually lose hope, because if they saw how we played against Namibia when we played home, I think we had an upper hand. Even going away to Namibia, I don't think, to South Africa, I don't think they will change to the extent that they can attack more than they did, especially. Okay, in the second half they had only one chance, and I don't think there will be a problem facing them on Tuesday. Okay. We'll make sure we'll deliver, so people shouldn't actually lose hope. It's 90 minutes that will tell. Yeah, in fact, it's not only Barbara, even Margaret Belem is also, she will not be part of the team. She will be leaving on the same day we are playing. She's going to China, so we have got replacements for both of them. This time around, I think we'll be able to make adjustments, especially up front.
Apologize for playing that wrong clip. However, that ends our news this evening. The headlines once again. Fed member challenges Zambians to assess the performance of President HH. UPND youths continue comforting themselves in anticipation of government jobs. The dilapidation of road infrastructure worry MAFINGA district residents. In international news, poor harvests in Sudan raise prices, force reliance on aid. And in sports, Copper Queens urged to be tactical ahead of Namibia encounter. And now look at the Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from John 14, verse 26, and it reads, "But the Counselor, the Holy Spirit, the Father will send him in my name, will teach you all the things and remind you of everything I have told you." But that's all we had for you on the desk. Thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. Good night.